Hey, yo, what a time to be a wrestling games fan in WWE 2K26 season. Well, unless you called it quits after the whole ringside pass thing, which, not gonna lie, can't even blame you. But, but if you still here, I want to talk about the thing that is near and dear to me and keeps me playing these games. Yep, it's another gameplay video. But in this one, we're gonna dive a little bit deeper into gameplay deep dive for WWE 2K26 and go over some of the things that I've noticed and some of the questions that I have about what they've shown so far. And if you're new to the channel or you've been here for a while, you already know I have two requests before we start. First, I need you to give all those problems to God, and then let me hold that attention right quick. WGC, lock in and let's work. First off, shout out to Wade Barrett for pulling double duty. Not only is he part of the playable roster, but he is also on the commentary team this year. So everybody go ahead and salute that man. Alright, so starting out with the dumpster match, honestly my position on this one hasn't changed. I mean, it still just feels like a casket match reskin, and it's looking like it's going to have the same minigame as well. I'm pretty sure that if they had a different minigame, this would have been a perfect opportunity for them to show that. And the fact that they didn't pretty much tells me everything I need to know. We might as well go ahead and get ready to mash them buttons, fam, because it looks like we are cooked for another year. I do love the fact that we are not restricted to ringside with this match. Having more possible locations is definitely a plus. I also hope that we're able to interact with this outside of dumpster matches. So like if we go to the parking lot and we see a dumpster, we're able to still have all the functionality, allowing us to have some meaningful interactions with the dumpster. I was really hoping that we would be able to move the dumpster around and kind of position it so that maybe we could use it to pull off some other spots. And VC, just a suggestion for the future, I think the dumpster needs some supercharged interactions much like the shopping cart. Allow us to throw our opponents in it and then push it around and maybe even attack them while they're inside of it. A 5-star frog splash off the top of the SmackDown fist while my opponent is laying in the dumpster sounds amazing to me. Just saying. So again, for future reference, more interactions, less button mashy. Up next, we got the I Quit match. How ironic is it that this match was so far off my radar, but it not only may be one of the best of the 4 new match types, but possibly one of the best match types in the entire game. I mean, I know this is just first glance, but some flowers may be in order for this one. We got a new and unique minigame, some absolute crazy weapon interactions, that chair assistant armbar submission. Listen, that is rated AJ Styles. Phenomenal. And I also think we got the kendo stick crossface as well. I am legit excited to see what other possible weapon interactions we might have with this match type. But with that comes a healthy fear as well, because I truly hope that these interactions are not locked to this match type. VC, I am begging y'all, please tell me that's not the case. In any other scenario, I would actually celebrate the fact that they're making this match type feel different from others. But seeing as how the weapon interactions are already pretty scarce in this game, we can't really afford to have them being locked to any certain match type. Up next, we got the 3 stages of hell. And to be honest, this is a match type that needs no introduction. This one was heavily requested by the WGC, and I'm just happy to see that it made its way back into the game. It's also cool to note that in an interview that Jess Bryan had with Cornell, he mentioned that there would be no loading screens. I think that's amazing. Being able to transition seamlessly from match to match is a huge W. Up next, we have the Inferno match. And if I'm keeping it all the way solid, I still don't know how to feel about this match yet. So far, all we know is the basic premise of performing offense to increase the temperature of the fire and then throwing our opponent out to so-called set them on fire. And at this moment, that's pretty much all we have. There was no sight or mention of a minigame being involved. So to be honest, at this point, we don't even know how to win this match. But what I can tell you is the fire aesthetic looks awful. It low-key looks like a cheap digital fireplace. I'm gonna need them to step it up and at least make the fire look somewhat respectable. A dope quality of life change that they added is reducing the invisible walls. Now, I am glad that they didn't remove them completely, because I used to hate that back in the old games where you would just walk off the side of the cell. But I do like that they reduced them to a point that we can now see the ragdoll physics in action. This feature looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to allow you to come up with some crazy spots. The Lucha trampoline was a nice touch too. I ain't gonna lie, they almost had me for a minute. I was like, yo, what is Becky Lynch on? They done gave my girl the super soldier serum. And I know this is a little bit arcadey, but given the setting, it actually seems pretty cool. I wonder if you like powerbomb somebody on it, would it like bounce them in the air? That would be pretty funny, I ain't gonna lie. Or better yet, what if you lift somebody in a carry move and then step on it? Will it pop both of y'all in the air? Nah, I'm tweaking, man. Surely that wouldn't work, right? There gotta be like some restrictions and limitations on that. But I ain't gonna lie though, it would be kind of cool if you could use it to get the shopping buggy up there. Speaking of the shopping buggy, man, this is probably one of my favorite interactions I've seen so far. Not only can you put people inside of the shopping buggy, but you can actually attack them while they're inside it. Seeing Don put hands on Ray while he was stuck in that buggy remind me of them grocery store whoopings I used to get. But seriously though, this does look like a lot of fun. I just can't wait to see how far we can take things with this. Matter of fact, this looks like a job for New Legacy Inc., man. Shout out to New Legacy, Johnny and them. If there's any shenanigans to be found, I trust that they're gonna find it. But moving on, we finally got a good look at the thumbtacks. And not gonna lie, man, I'm a little bit underwhelmed by the selling. Seeing somebody be superplexed onto a bunch of thumbtacks, you kinda expect a bigger reaction. Now to be fair, I think somebody did point out that maybe the blood wasn't on, and maybe that was a reason that the reaction was kind of mild, but I really hope that there's more to it than this. We've waited way too long for this feature to return to have it be kind of mediocre. So hopefully it's just a situation of where they were trying to keep it clean for the trailer. The next standout scene we got is Super Cena taking flight from the SmackDown fist and landing on what looks like to be Randy Orton. This is a truly dope spot, but there is 3 little letters missing from this. 3 very dangerous letters. Bro, imagine how sick that would be if you can catch somebody with an RKO in this situation. VC, might be time to upgrade them catch finishers. Just saying. Up next, we got yet another dope implementation with the stacked tables. What can I say about this feature that hasn't already been said, man? This is just a huge W. If there was one change I had to make, it would be getting rid of the exploding tables. And I already spoke to this in another video, but I'm just not fond of that aesthetic. I think it's more than ran its course. So hopefully in the very near future, we would get some more realistic table breaks, something that's more natural. And here we are with yet another dope aesthetic. VC is really cooking, man. I gotta give them their flowers. I'm very critical of them when I feel like it's necessary, so I want to keep that same energy in the praise. Having the title belts ringside just helps with the overall presentation, and it adds another weapon to the match. So for those of us who want to play a little dirty, we have more tools to do so. I love the new attack animations, the whipping, and I've said this before, man, I would love to see a situation where guys like Hogan and Cody Rhodes, aka Big Raheem, can take off their weight belts and use them as weapons. And somebody made a good point, that whipping animation would be perfect for a leather strap. And maybe this is just us being one step closer to having a strap match in the game. But bottom line, man, I'm just so glad to see weapons get some love this year. Going all the way back to the chair armbar, the weapon physics, and now the new attack animations, this is definitely one of those about time situations. And truth be told, I'm still hoping that there's a lot we just haven't seen yet, because there are a lot of weapons and I'm just hoping for some unique animations for a lot of them. The new crowd fighting is also just another dope addition. I mean, as it adds just another caveat to matches. I'm really glad they showed this because this was one of the things I was a little bit confused about. They mentioned it on their website, but it was really vague at the time. So now to finally see it in action, it makes a lot more sense. The expansion of the barricade fighting is also pretty well done. In the video, they showed us some pretty nice sequences, and it has me wondering like exactly what kind of moves are we going to be able to pull off? Are we going to be able to hit signatures and finishers from this position? So it's some things to think about, man, but overall, I think this is just dope. The surprise attacks seem fun, but honestly, I'm not really sure on what makes them so different from just regular run-ins. Don't get me wrong, I love the idea of being able to just trigger random things, but if I'm being honest, it just looks like a regular interference. Still pretty dope though, so I'm not complaining. The start of the match actions, W feature. Again, when you hear me say this game needs more professional wrestling, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Things that happen and make up the anatomy of a professional wrestling match. Features like this help with pacing and storytelling, And it just also gives players something else to do instead of starting every match the same way. Hopefully we get some cool character specific actions on top of the normal stuff. I rock with the AI sequences because, simply put, anything that aligns a wrestler with his real life counterpart is always going to be dope to me, because essentially that's what I want. I want an experience that imitates real life. And as we continue to get more and more features in this game, I hope that they continue to tweak the AI to complement the new features. Not only when it comes to just movesets, but hopefully personality traits and maybe even some persona actions. For example, with the new weapon physics, if a weapon is laying in the ring, then certain wrestlers more than others may try to seize the opportunity and use that to their advantage and actually try to perform moves onto the weapon. With the new reversal system and how stamina is going to be more important than ever now, it seems, maybe after their stamina reaches a certain point, they would try to create some distance by exiting the ring, or maybe in those cases where they normally would follow up, they would opt to rest to try to regain some stamina. Or better yet, imagine a scenario where a heel wrestler who is the champion, once they become tired and beat up to a certain extent, they would actually go outside, grab their title off the podium, and actually attempt to abandon the match by trying to exit through the crowd, and you would have to chase him down and basically fight to get him back in the ring. So you see how this one scenario could lead to a cause and effect sequence that showcases a lot of the new elements added in the game in a very clever and meaningful way. To break it down even further, check me out. The low stamina and health would be what would cause your opponent to leave the ring, which is tied to his AI personality setting. He goes and grabs his belt off the podium, making the title being at ringside meaningful. By leaving through the crowd, he's showcasing the expanded crowd area, and you having to go chase him down and bring him back, that's showing the crowd fighting. So like I said earlier, that one sequence just showcased a bunch of new gameplay elements and gave them purpose. It's not enough to just add these things, but create scenarios in which we actually make them useful. Another reason I gave this example is because I want AI features to be a lot deeper than just how frequent they use certain moves or actions. For example, I would expect someone like Sabu to go out and grab a chair frequently because it falls in line with his fighting logic. However, somebody like a Drew McIntyre might be more inclined to grab a chair out of anger or frustration. For instance, like you keep kicking out of his finisher. That may trigger him to go grab a weapon. So his weapon use is more based on his personality. So while the actions itself are similar, the reasons for them doing so is different. Basically, in addition to the fighting logic, I'd like to see some deeper scenario-based personality and persona logic thrown in there as well. Now it looks like we got some rivalry stuff that seems to be spilling outside of universe mode, which they let us know that we can now have these type of rivalry actions in just normal matches. And they did say that the cutscenes would be based on your actions, but I just wonder how deep that goes. Is it just going to be a situation where like, okay, I beat them and they're a heel, so therefore they're going to attack me? Or is it really going to be based on the things I do? Like, for example, if I beat them with a leverage pin, will that cause them to be frustrated and then attack me? I just wonder how much my actions are going to influence this. But again, very nice touch. We already kind of went over the new commentary team, and again, very nice touch. I'm excited to see this because it's just good to get a refresher in there. Have some fresh faces, some fresh lines, hopefully. Because I know with Booker T on there, we definitely going to get some crazy stuff being said. So once again, score another W for VC and the dev team. Interactive entrances was another one I was like super excited for when I first heard it. Because like I said, man, this comes straight from my personal wish list. And from the looks of things, VC came fairly close to what I wanted. I'm not talking about the pyros and stuff like that, because let's be honest, we all know they came straight from AEW Fight Forever. But I'm speaking more to the crowd taunts and interactions, things like that. Now, I would have liked to seen them be a little more interactive with the crowd. The example I gave in my video is people like Cody Rhodes stopping to give a fan his weight belt, or Rey Mysterio stopping to acknowledge a fan that has on a lucha mask, Bret Hart giving away his shades, or even like the more heel actions of stopping to acknowledge a crowd sign. Maybe take it and rip it up, argue with or jump scare somebody in the crowd. Just those little interactions that really show off that heel work. But even with that being said, this feature overall is a huge W. And I also want to give them a shout out for the amazing camera work they've been doing lately, man. We've gotten so many different camera angles. I mean, that's just crazy, man. It's a small thing that you probably don't think about that much, but it really does go a long way with the presentation. I also want to address the drive feature. Again, shout out to the homie Just Brian, Cornell, and also AEW Fight Forever because we know where this feature came from. The drive feature allows you to push and position your opponent while you guys are in a lockup. So that's dope in itself. But an even bigger deal for me is that Cornell also mentioned that you can now perform basic repositions and grapple transitions from the collar and elbow tie-up. Bro, thank you. This is something that I've been begging for, and I'm pretty sure it's on every single one of my quality of life wish lists. Finally having the ability to perform something like a simple go-behind to perform back grapples is a very small but important detail. So personally, this is a huge W for me, man. I'm glad to see this finally making it into the game. One thing I am curious about though is with the new drive mechanic, where does that leave the drag mechanic? Because in terms of functionality, they basically do the same thing, But these are some of my thoughts and feelings. Overall, in terms of gameplay, personally, I feel like 2K is handing out more W's than a bag full of upside down M&Ms, but that's just how I feel about it. WGC, chime in and let me know how you guys feeling. To all my gameplay fans, do you guys feel like they cooked this year? Or is there something that's missing for you? As always, I want to truly thank you guys for rocking with me and giving me a piece of your time. Love y'all. All glory to God. Later, WGC.